Yeah, okay, cool, not a problem. Hello, this is Dave.
Once we start, it's limit the amount of walking.
So, got this right, Dave.
Like
Dave Harper, Senior Conservation Officer.
Yep.
Excellent.
Okay.
All right. Excellent. Well, good morning, everyone, and happy World Wildlife Day. Today I'm joined with Dave Harper, who's the Senior Conservation Officer on a very, very important project here in Queensland. I should also say we're at David Flay's, which is obviously an iconic Gold Coast destination, but it's also a really important part of our conservation team and efforts across this state. The team here have a bridled nail-tail wallaby, which is, I'm told, the only place in the world that the general public can come and see this animal close up, and I think it reiterates the importance of places like this on the Gold Coast for people to be able to come and see some of our endangered wildlife, learn about conservation and why it's incredibly important. But today I'm pleased to be announcing some good news as part of our recovery team process for the northern hairy-nosed wombat. The northern hairy-nosed wombat is, of course, critically endangered. It's one of the rarest land animals, in fact, in the world. And the team have been doing some incredible efforts. In the 80s, it was thought that this population size got to as low as 35, and it's now over 300 northern hairy-nosed wombats because of the conservation efforts of the Department of Environment and Science. They're doing work already at 2 particular sites, but today I'm really pleased to announce that there will be a 3rd site that has been secured to do even more recovery efforts in Queensland. This will hopefully see this rare animal continue to grow its population, and of course there's a lot of work that goes behind the scenes. It's not just finding the right location, it's obviously a lot of important work around the expertise of these recovery programs. They're often very remote parts of Queensland as well, so the expertise of people like Dave and others who are a part of these projects are vital to the continuation of making sure that we protect these species in Queensland. I should also note Queensland has the most biodiversity in the country, and it's incredibly important that we protect that. That's one of the reasons why we recently announced almost $40 million, both for threatened species and for koala habitat and works across the state, because we know that we need to protect these species going forward. We also announced the largest investment in national parks in Queensland's history to be able to purchase even more habitat. We know one of the biggest impacts to threatened species is habitat loss. And so if we can purchase areas, protect them for future generations, that is an ideal outcome to make sure that we can reverse the trend that we've been seeing. We also have other programs like our Land Restoration Fund, where we're not only delivering carbon farming opportunities for landholders, but we're also making sure that we deliver those additional co-benefits, so things like conserving biodiversity. So we are doing an enormous amount across Queensland. There's always more to do, but I'm really proud of some of the work that our recovery teams have been doing in this state, particularly with the northern hairy-nosed wombat. I might hand over to Dave now and then take questions. Thanks, Dave.
No worries. This site is a significant contribution to the recovery of the northern hairy-nosed wombat. It's another step for us to move forward to protecting this species. It's been some time in terms of trying to find habitat for northern hairy-nosed wombats, because they have a very specific habitat requirement of looking for deep sandy soils to burrow in, and also they want quite a diversity of native grass that's year-round, and also an overstory of trees. So to find a large contiguous area that we can fence off and protect them from predators is fantastic.
So it'll be a breeding program as well?
They breed very well by themselves. So we just really need to find the natural habitat for them, and then we just put them into that site and away they go.
Is there a plan in place to protect them from developers?
I'm not. Well, this site is protected, so it's a state forest, and then hopefully in the future potentially become a national park. So I'm hoping that it will be protected from developers. Yeah.
Is the site ready to go?
There is a little bit of work that needs to be done, so we need to. There is an exclusion fence around part of it, but we need to exclude another section, and then just remove any predators, which are basically wild dogs, and we probably end up doing a little bit of burning and whatnot, just to improve the habitat, such as It hasn't been burnt for some time, so it just needs to regenerate the habitat a bit more.
Just one for me. If it does do well, this program, could we see? I know they breed really well by themselves, but could we see one of these wombats come to David Play? Do you think?
I'm not sure. You know, animals love to be in the environment. It's good from my perspective. It's good to see them out, you know, in their existence, and they're very cryptic and shy, and they sort of nocturnal, and so they don't really want to come out too much, I suppose, only for in there. But it's best. I personally believe animals need to be in their own habitat.
Obviously, you said there is a little bit of work to be done.
Yep.
Do you know when the animals will be able to be in this?
We're looking at a roughly a 2 to 3 year period sort of space. So, yeah, we also will dig up artificial burrows for them, just the starter burrows, and so that basically when we move them in there, they can then build on that, excavate them a bit further, and we'll also put water points out there to help keep breeding consistent. So just other resources that's available for them, and probably potentially some facilities for us to maintain the whole site.
So what's their worst predator, and how do you stop them from getting to them?
So at the moment it is wild dogs, and that'll be with sort of a particular type of exclusion fencing. Yep. Good. Excellent.
Anything else? Excellent.
I was just going to ask about the Coomera connector.
Okay, excellent. Thanks, Dave.
Thank you. What are your concerns about koalas in that area, the impact of the Coomera connector on the population?
Yeah, well, look, the Department of Transport and Main Roads have done extensive work with experts and koala groups to try and minimise any impact on the natural environment. We obviously announced a very large acquisition to deliver the offsets needed, and there's a whole lot of other work that's included as part of that application. I understand it's before the federal government at the moment to get an EPBC approval, and so ultimately that's the appropriate process, and that's ultimately a decision for them.
How concerning is it that more delays could take place given commuters that desperately need this Coomera connector?
Yeah, look, obviously I absolutely appreciate that Gold Coasters want to see the Coomera connector delivered as soon as possible, and it's an election commitment that we made to Gold Coasters. We do need to, though, follow the proper process. We need to make sure that it goes through rigorous checks. That's the process that's underway right now, and I'm hopeful that we'll obviously get an answer soon from the Commonwealth.
Concerns it could be permanently scrapped?
Look, ultimately, I think it needs to just go through those proper processes. There's been a lot of work that's already been undertaken. Professor Graham Hanger has been involved. There's been a lot of experts who have worked on this particular report. So I just think the federal government need to obviously look at that detail, make sure they're comfortable with it, and then make a decision. But I'm comfortable and confident that we'll be able to find a path forward to protect these species, but also deliver the sort of infrastructure that the Gold Coast needs.
Have you been told when a decision might be made by the federal government?
I haven't been informed of that information. Obviously, that's more of a communication both between Transport and Main Roads and the Commonwealth Department. But there's generally time periods for these decisions, so of course they'll look at that and they'll make a decision as soon as possible. Excellent. Cool. Thank you.